Welcome to the 24th episode of the Influential Wellnesspreneur podcast. My name is Sebastian Hilbert and I'm the Wellnesspreneur expert. I help wellness business owners and therapists to reach their ideal clients, get more of the right people into their business, and with that, achieve the lifestyle practice they really desire. Today, on this podcast episode, I have a very special guest. His name is Matthew Patti, and he's an international speaker, spiritual teacher, and mentor. And he also focuses on exactly you guys who are wellness business owners and people in the holistic wellness space, and to teach them how to get better in what they do, basically. So let's say hello to Matthew and see how he's going. Hello, Matthew. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Sebastian. Great to be here. Excellent.
Awesome. Very, very good. So let me quickly, to everyone who's listening, introduce Matthew a little bit more. Matthew is a sought after, as I said, international speaker, spiritual teacher, and mentor. He has spent more than 2.5 decades at the forefront of entrepreneurship, metaphysical healing, spirituality, and leadership. He's been sharing his unique blend of timeless wisdom and leading-edge philosophies with more than 45,000 luminaries, as he likes to call them, across Australia, UK, USA, Europe, and New Zealand. So basically the world. Matthew is the creator of the Practitioner Leadership Academy and the New Earth Abundance movement, and is known as the #1 authority for helpers, healers, and holistic practitioners who want to make a bigger difference in the world. Absolute amazing. Matthew, how does it feel hearing that back to your ears?
I'm glad it's the first time I've been asked that. It's a little bit surreal, but at the same time, really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, take that as a what do you say? As a memory or something that's been taught back to you, because it's true. I know it's true. I've been looking into your profile and your websites, and it is true. And you have achieved some incredible things. So let's get right into it, and let me ask you, where did it start for you? Like, where did this thing start for you in your life?
Wow. Yeah. I think the short answer to that would probably be around 8 or 9, very interested in occult, in metaphysics, in seeing the world differently. You know, they started off with, little reading everything about, the unknown and all those sort of things. And then it progressed into, really wanting to experience and get to know more of the physicality. So, getting into sport, and then studying to be a physiologist. So I worked in the field of health and well-being, in rehabilitation, and did presentations in Australia and through Europe and US and the UK, knowing about the body. And then, there was always this spiritual nature. There was always this yearning to I guess with one of my gifts, or many of them, is to be able to see behind the illusion of the body, what's happening in clients' bodies, what's going on, and also in their field of potential around them. But it was a number of businesses later that it really dialed in. It asked me to come forward even more and say, look, you've done the physicality, you've done the marketing and social media and media empires building, you've done co-founded a healthy living, healthy aging genetic company. Now it's time to go inside deeper, to go out higher. And that was where, at the end of 2012, there had been quite a number of events leading up to that particular time. But I heard very, very clearly with a mentor at the time, lead the light, lead the way. And so lead the light, lead the way was all about, creating leaders, helping them to wake up in these fields of healing and transformation. And that's where I find myself now, where there's the most joy, the most alignment, and the most fulfillment in what I do.
Wow, amazing. So what do you think were some trigger points where you said, okay, now it's really time? Because was it just something that happened naturally, or what was that transition period like?
Yes, I mean, it always feels uncomfortable. Transition tends to feel awkward, uncomfortable, even painful. So, having built up quite a large business, a couple of those then realizing that this external facade, success is meant something different when you arrive at it. And there was a little bit of a letdown. You think, am I there yet? Am I there yet? And then when you realize, well, this is what I wanted, but it's not all that I envisioned it was going to be or hoped it would be, and as fulfilling. And so that started the unwinding process of me, and I guess deconstructing what it was that I'm really here to do. And so those came as, several flashpoints, one after another, where, there was a demise of one business. There was also, a separation of a partnership with children involved, and all these sorts of things. And they were big wake-up calls. It says, at heart, you are an entrepreneur. At heart, you are more than you've given yourself permission to experience or to share with others. And that was really the time to say, look, get out from the shadows and start doing what brings you joy,
Wow. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that really brings the change, when you kind of make that the decision on the inside. Like you make from moving from decision to a determination.
Yes.
So what do you think was what for you? Was it just what happened around you, and that's what drove you to get this determination, or is there something that you also did to get there, like to really experience that?
Yeah, great question. There are a number of things. There was always this inner drive to know more, to explore, to ask, big questions, not the everyday sort of questions, to the frustration of other people sometimes around me. Why do you, have to ask that question? Or, I don't know. Why would you ask me about that? So there was this deep yearning for knowledge. And as I went deeper into things, I could start to feel that there was a framework of knowledge that was available, and it is to everyone. And so all of my experiences and all of what kept me moving forward was the curiosity to, to explore, to evolve, and to enjoy, the next creation. So that's where now I find myself, still working with entrepreneurs and practitioners, but at a much higher level, because there's so many people, great people out there like you, doing the frontline work and the inner business work, which I've done. But now it's really saying there's so much more available to you in pursuing your goals, and that's what keeps me hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a big world to explore, isn't it? Because we haven't, I would say, genuinely in the world, not really tapped into that much.
No, especially as practitioners, and coaches, whether it's in health or well-being, whatever it may be, you are dialed in at a healer level or at a practitioner level. But there's still that heaviness that comes with, well, I've got to make the business work. I've got to make money. I've got to attract clients. I've got to do marketing. I've got to, create all of these bells and whistles and systems and structure.
But on the other side, you feel like you want to, you want to give it all the way for free, right? I want to help more people. Like yes, I need to make my business work, but I also want to give it to everyone.
That's the deepest aspect, is contribution. They want to contribute.
So what's your comment on that inner conflict?
Yeah, wonderful. It's a very, very common conflict. They feel that it's organic, very natural to give. They want to see and feel and experience people's uprising, wellness and balance and wholeness. At the same time, the inner critic within the healer is like, in astrology, it's like Chiron, it's the wounded healer planet, and it never goes away. And there's this little aspect within the healer that says, am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? There's this age-old indoctrination that says you must not make money from your craft, from your skill. And yet lawyers, barristers, doctors, all the other white-collar professionals have no problem doing that and charge through their nose to do that. So the healer is it's important for the healer to come to that central place where there is a balance of the shadow and the light. The shadow might be that I feel uncomfortable with raising my prices because I want people to be able to afford and have accessibility to my services. The light side is sort of saying, well, actually, I want to enjoy abundance in my life. I want to have freedom to live and move and create what I want in my world as my own personal experience. So there's this mutiny. So when you can dial into that and you say that contribution is to what you do for the self, you do for another, and what you do for another, you do for the self. There's never one-sided view. It's always a balance. And that's looking at what is it that you want. And when your cup is filled and overflowing, you have infinite levels of energy and ability to serve more people. Your impact is greater when your cup is filled.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, the better you feel yourself, the more productive you will be, and the more your ability will, the higher your ability will be to help others. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And absolutely. And I guess that's a little bit what you also do with your teachings and with your doings in the programs that you are just about, the one program you're just about to launch.
Yes.
But also what you've been doing recently. So maybe my next question would be, what's a process or something you would recommend for someone to really realize and get that down pat? Because I feel like that's kind of what you're trying to achieve with your new programs, because it's easy to say that and it's say like, okay, I understand that, I want to do that, but really actually getting there, because it's an inner almost feeling. I don't know how you would describe that.
Yes. It's the inner work. When we understand that it's the inner work, we spend most of our time pushing against a reality on the outside of us, applying force and effort towards it. More money, more clients, more freedom, whatever it's going to be. And that's cool. There's an applied, that's necessary. However, to get to that place, it's sort of saying, look, something in me is missing. And there's a level of fulfillment that's missing. And so the program that's coming up that you mentioned is called Zero Limits. Zero Limits, Awaken Advanced Conscious Abilities. And it's for those business owners that really want to shift themselves and their business to the next level. So, you show up for clients and you're able to read them. You're able to dial into their current state and prescribe for them. So now it's time to find that prescription for the self. So we're talking about, okay, I'm going to enroll myself in a higher level of belief that advances me on my path towards fulfillment, and knowing that you can have the business of your dreams. You can actually have the life of your dreams. It's going to feel like work a little bit, but that's the realization. It's so thinking how much time you currently invest in your outer world, i.e. spend in your outer world, and how little you spend on the inner planes, building your energy, increasing your quotient, what I call your light quotient in your body, which then increases the field and strengthens the field around you, so that your quantum potential is realized faster because you're vibrating at a higher rate. That's the unspoken, I guess, yearning the right person ready for this type of opportunity is asking themselves.
Yeah, and I guess that's and there's a lot of work to do actually to really grasp what you mean with that. And I think that's where Luminaries comes from, isn't it?
Yes. We're all luminaries.
Yeah.
And so if you have an idea, I call that a lightning strike. So you have a lightning strike, it came to you. You had an insight, you have a calling, you have a mission or a purpose. That came to you first. At whatever time you decide that it's not for you and you're not going to do anything with it, it'll go to the next available person who has the unique makeup and capability to do something with it. But know that it came to you because you have capability and it is aligned with you. It might not feel easy. You might feel in resistance to it or in denial of it, that you're not worth it or that you can't do it. You don't have the tools, resources, or the know-how. It came to you because you have the capability to see it through.
Very interesting. Love that way of looking into that. Looking at it that way. Very nice. So where does that all fit into the New Earth Abundance movement and the the Practitioner Leadership Academy?
Great. So the Practitioner Leadership Academy is the overarching entity. And so within that, there are different programs, different tools and resources, i.e. the Zero Limits program. There have been some other on the ground, make money, unpack your intellectual property and gifts programs there. The New Earth Abundance movement is really a heartfelt, mission-led project. It's to help practitioners and those that want to move into the field of healing to, I guess, feel more abundance. And so the New Earth Abundance is a frequency. And so, that's a series of interviews that we go through. So there's a number of different aspects, but the overarching entity is called the Practitioner Leadership Academy, because that's essentially the core focus. Those people out there leading the field and wanting to make the world a better place.
Very good, very good. So we tapped a little bit onto where this is going for you. I mean, you're launching your Zero Limits program. You have your movement, which is obviously showing your vision. But looking a little bit further ahead, maybe 2, 3, 5 years, what's that going to look like for you, or where do you want to go?
Is that personally or professionally?
I don't know. Is there a big difference? I'd like to know both.
Yeah, that's really good, really good. A bit of a trick question, because when you feel that you are in alignment, for me, there is no separation between work and play. And so, I know that a very deep underlying part of what I do is to help awaken and create enlightened communities around the world by helping practitioners to be those leaders within their communities. Personally, travel is a big part of what we do. Travel, adventure, getting in front of people and activating, as I call them, points of light on the grid, on the planet. So travel is really big. Over the next 3 to 5 years, it is about, helping people through my own exploration to see a bigger vision for themselves, to create and dial into a greater capacity for life. So it's going to be an exciting journey. So there is going to be travel, there is going to be events, there will be face-to-face contact. I think that's where the richness comes in.
Yeah. Is there a particular part in the world or a particular or culture where you're especially excited about it, where you're aiming to go? Or
Yes, the New Zealand's have just come back from a 9-day tour through the North Island of New Zealand. That's a very big energetic hotspot. There's very receptive practitioners there, very open, very hungry, very mobile in their intentions. And also North America, is calling big time. I'd say the West Coast, connecting and aligning, lining up with practitioners and tribes over there. That's the next 2 aspects, and that'll create a nice little triangulation with Australia, New Zealand, and North America, and then we'll springboard into Europe, which will probably be close to 2020.
Yeah, amazing. I'm looking forward to that. As I may have noticed, I'm from Germany, so I know there's lots of amazing stuff coming from over there, especially when it comes to technology. I know the people I work with here, often when there's a new bit of advanced technology, it's often produced in Germany, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. But on the other side, I know what my biggest driver in the industry is helping other people, holistic practitioners like you do, is because actually the biggest health issues I see, and an explosions of the lifestyle related health issues are from my hometown in Germany. So it always kind of surprises me the difference between, you know, that experience, especially right now actually, and this advanced technology that comes from the same place.
Yes. Yeah, outstanding. Yeah, you've got a good lineage, so so use it to your advantage. It's good.
I try. Okay, good advice. Good advice. Matthew, we talked a bit about, or you gave him already quite a bit of advice on, especially the whole area, that inner conflict, I think, which is the biggest one for probably many listeners who are on the podcast, is that inner conflict between, I want to have an abundant and great lifestyle, and I want to give everything away for free kind of stuff. So I've already tapped into that a little bit. So, and I always ask my interviewees for 3 best tips to from their experience and to solve a certain problem, usually to grow the wellness business of our listeners. So can you maybe just kind of recap and specifically, you maybe give us 3 things you think this is something you should do to maybe overcome that inner conflict, but maybe also something else?
Perfect. Happy to. The first one is something I haven't mentioned yet, but it does relate to what we've been talking about. It is, your ideal client is the 1.0 version of you. That person that you were 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, 10 years ago, going through that same trauma, those same wellness or health upsets. There's an intriguing element to that. So your ideal client is the 1.0 version of you.
Love that.
Number 2 is, look at all of your clients right now and pick your top 5. And if you don't have 5, pick your top 1 that you just love them. They pay on time. They refer other people. They do the homework and they show up and they've gotten great results with you. Find that one person and interview them and unpack why they came to you, what their problems were, what you've helped them solve or overcome or achieve as a result of working with you. That's the second thing. The third thing is, move yourself, and with number 2 is then go about and find another 99 of those. So where there's 1, there's another 99. So get your first 100, because that gives you lots of mobility and lots of momentum in your business and in cash flow and impact. So number 3 and final is, give yourself permission to go after what you really want, lifestyle-wise. No one else is going to give you permission to attain it, to achieve it, to receive it. Give yourself permission to have the life you want, and then go about exploring how that can look and how it will function for you.
Very good. Absolutely love that. And with that, you take those first 100 that you identified, because they're basically, you take them on the journey with you. And as you progress, by giving yourself the permission, you pull them with you.
Nice one. I love that. That's so true.
Very good. Yeah, great approach. And the 1.0, because I actually see that a lot. People don't quite realize, and I realize in my business as well, that the people who work the best with me are the ones who are on a similar journey, maybe in a different industry, yes, but the problems are often similar, and you solve, whilst you're solving your own problems, you use that then to the methods you learn to solve their problems and get them to evolve and go on that journey with you. So,
yes, and they're going to be interested in some of the same extracurricular things, whether they have pets or they like outdoor activities or whether they like to play chess. Unpack yourself in the 1.0 version and know that your tribe is interested in those things as you are.
And I think critical is really, to what you said, is to actually then also go and interview them. Don't just sit with your assumptions about that person. Actually go out and ask and more or less try to validate these assumptions.
Yes.
By interviewing and asking.
And most people will say yes, especially, your number 1 client. They're all too happy to help you. And so pick their brains and ask them why they're still here.
Yeah, there are your raving fans. They're already referring you. So yes, they will be more than happy to help you. Absolutely. Yeah, very good. Matthew, this was absolutely awesome. Obviously, we have your website, matthewpatti.com, in the show notes. Matthew Patti, that's MatthewPatti.com. And we also have your LinkedIn profile in the show notes. So I encourage everyone to visit Matthew's website and LinkedIn profile, connect with him, reach out to him, have a look at his Zero Limits program. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. I definitely will follow it and see where that goes, Matthew. So best of luck. If that's I don't think you need luck, but I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Sebastian. It's been great. Really good. Let's do it again.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it. Let's do it again. Absolutely. So thanks for jumping on the podcast. Everyone who's out there listening, it would mean the world to me, again, if you could share it maybe with one or two other people who could learn from Matthew and take out of this podcast what you have taken out, or maybe even something more, and collaborate with each other. And I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss next week's episode. And in that manner, in my German heritage, I say tschüss and see you next week.
Bye now.
If you would like to find out more about what Matthew does, as well as his new program, head to www.matthewpatti.com. The links for his website and social profiles are in the show notes, so check them out. We look forward to seeing you next week when we interview Natalie Ferrier, wellness entrepreneur, mentor, trainer, and speaker. Don't forget to subscribe to the Influential Wellnesspreneur podcast so you don't miss an episode and get involved in our social community. Until next week, enjoy changing lives.